In this video, we're going to talk about Jeffrey Epstein, not the story you've already heard, but the one that follows the money from a Brooklyn kid with a fake resume all the way to a private island, a surveillance empire, and a deal with the federal government that should have been impossible. You are Jeffrey Epstein, and this is how you built the most dangerous empire in modern history. Not with a gun, not with a cartel, but with a secret. You grew up in Coney Island, Brooklyn, working class. Your father swept parks for the city. You were sharp with numbers, brilliant actually, but you never finished college. That detail will haunt you until you learn to weaponize it. In 1974, you talk your way into a teaching job at the most elite private school in Manhattan, the Dalton School. You're 21. You have no degree and you put 2 fake ones on your application. Nobody checks. One of your students is the son of Alan Greenberg, the CEO of Bear Stearns, one of the most powerful investment banks on Wall Street. The kid's father notices you, calls Greenberg, says you're wasting your time teaching. Within weeks, you're sitting across from the most connected men in finance and they're offering you a job. You go from high school teacher to Bear Stearns in 1976. No degree, no credentials, nothing but charm and the ability to make rich people feel like you understand them better than anyone else. You become a limited partner by 1980. You're earning the equivalent of $800,000 a year. You're 27 years old and Cosmopolitan magazine names you Bachelor of the Month. But it doesn't last. Bear Stearns catches you giving illegal stock tips to a girlfriend, lending money to friends through the firm, charging $10,000 in jewelry to a company expense account. The SEC opens an inquiry into insider trading. You deny everything. You resign before they can fire you. The investigation quietly disappears. This is the first time the system lets you walk. It will not be the last. You spend the early 1980s doing something you'll later describe to people as being a bounty hunter, recovering stolen funds for ultra-wealthy clients from offshore accounts in the Cayman Islands. Allegedly, you pull off your first $1 million payday this way. You also allegedly defraud an investor named Michael Stroll out of $450,000 on a fake crude oil deal. And when he demands his money back, you send him a jar of crude oil as a joke. He takes you to court. Nothing comes of it. Then in 1987, a man named Steven Hoffenberg hires you as a consultant for a company called Towers Financial Corporation. He pays you $25,000 a month, almost $70,000 in today's money, and sets you up in a Manhattan office. Together, you and Hoffenberg attempt a hostile takeover of Pan American Airways. It fails. But what you're building inside Towers Financial doesn't fail. At least not yet. Hoffenberg is running one of the largest Ponzi schemes in American history. $450 million stolen from everyday investors. In court documents, he will later claim you helped design it. You leave the company in 1989 before it collapses. Hoffenberg goes to prison for 20 years. You are never charged. This is the second time the system lets you walk. By 1988, you've already launched your own firm, J. Epstein and Company. You claim it manages money exclusively for billionaires. You keep all your clients secret. All of them except one. And that one changes everything. His name is Les Wexner. He built a retail empire that owns Victoria's Secret, Bath and Body Works, Abercrombie and Fitch. His net worth at the time is in the billions. His own financial advisor meets you and immediately tells Wexner, allegedly, "I smell a rat. Don't trust him." Wexner ignores the warning. He doesn't just hire you, he gives you power of attorney over his entire fortune. That means you can move his money, sign his documents, buy and sell his assets without asking him first. You use that power to transfer Wexner's Manhattan townhouse, a 40-room, 7-story mansion on the Upper East Side, into your own name. The property is worth $77 million. You move in, you renovate it, you install a $17,000 massage table, you wire the entire building with cameras. Wexner also connects you to Ehud Barak, the most decorated soldier in Israeli military history, former head of Israeli military intelligence, former prime minister, former defense minister. Allegedly, the Wexner Foundation pays Barak $2.3 million for 2 research studies between 2004 and 2006. That introduction will matter later in ways nobody is ready for yet. You move your financial operation to the U.S. Virgin Islands in 1996. The territory offers massive tax incentives. Over the next 2 decades, your companies there, Financial Trust Company and Southern Trust Company, will reportedly generate $800 million in revenue, $300 million of that comes from tax savings alone. Your clients are paying you extraordinary fees for vague services nobody can fully explain. Apollo Global Management Chairman Leon Black allegedly pays you $158 million, allegedly for tax and estate planning. Senate investigators would later say it was baffling why sophisticated businessmen paid you that kind of money for services that couldn't be clearly defined. Unless, they noted, something else was at play. You buy a private island, Little St. James in the US. Virgin Islands, 71 acres in the Caribbean, purchased in 1998 for $7.95 million. You make it your primary residence. You build a main house, a pool, a sundial, a private dock, a helipad. And on a hill at the center of the island, a structure that will become the most photographed and least explained building in your entire empire. You also purchase a second island, Great St. James, in 2016 for $22 million. You have properties in New York, Palm Beach, New Mexico, Paris, London. Wherever you land, the system is already in place. Young women recruited by your partner, Ghislaine Maxwell, the daughter of disgraced British media tycoon Robert Maxwell, 6 of whose Israeli spy chiefs attended his funeral. Maxwell recruits girls at parks, outside schools, in shopping centers. She writes her number down for teenagers. She promises modeling careers, travel, opportunity. They arrive at your door expecting a massage appointment. They leave as victims. The Palm Beach Police Department gets a tip in 2005. A 14-year-old girl tells her parents a man paid her $300 for a massage that ended in abuse. Detectives start pulling on the thread. They find 40 victims, ages 13 to 16. They find nude photos, a massage room, flight logs for a private plane that victims will call the Lolita Express. The FBI takes over and builds a 56-page draft indictment. 32 federal counts against you and your employees for conspiracy to traffic minors across state lines. The lead federal prosecutor is a man named Alex Acosta. He does not sign off on the indictment. Instead, he offers you a deal so extraordinary that legal scholars will still be debating it 2 decades later. Plead guilty to 2 state charges, not federal. Serve 18 months, reduced to 13. Leave prison 12 hours a day, 6 days a week to work from your private home office. And here is the part that takes your breath away. All of your co-conspirators, known and unknown, receive lifetime immunity from any further federal investigation. Your entire network walks free. Your victims are never told the deal exists until after it is signed. Months before you formally enter your guilty plea, you fly to Israel. According to your own PR representative, you tour a newly constructed Israeli military base. This trip is barely reported. No major outlet covers it. Years later, when Acosta is being confirmed as Donald Trump's Secretary of Labor, someone asks him why he gave you that deal. He reportedly tells a senior White House official, "I was told Epstein belonged to intelligence and to leave it alone." That quote comes from journalist Vicky Ward, citing an anonymous source. Acosta denies it. The Department of Justice conducts a review and blames the deal on, quote, poor judgment. But buried on page 313 of their 348-page report is a footnote. Acosta's email inbox has a gap. From May 2007 to November 2008, the exact window when your deal was being negotiated, there are 0 inbound emails. Every other time period is intact. They blame it on a server migration. You serve your time, loosely, and you walk out. Now, something new begins. Ehud Barak becomes a regular presence at your Manhattan apartment. Your own staff occasionally refer to the apartment as Ehud's apartment. Emails later released by the Department of Justice show Barak's wife corresponding with a member of your staff about the Israeli government installing surveillance equipment inside your New York home, sensors on windows, remote access to the building systems. The email notes that Jeffrey does not mind holes in the walls. In another email, you explicitly tell someone that Barak should make clear to Qatari investors that you do not work for Mossad. In 2012, a political crisis explodes in the Ivory Coast. A disputed election triggers civil war. The new president, Ouattara, needs to consolidate power over a fractured country. On one day in June 2012, while Barak is still officially serving as Israel's defense minister, the Ivorian president meets him in Jerusalem to discuss science and technology cooperation. On that same exact day, halfway across the world, the president's son is having dinner with you. Over the following months, you and Barak repeatedly meet with Ivorian officials. A former head of Israeli intelligence sends Barak a detailed proposal. Israel will sell a full signals intelligence package to the Ivory Coast. The package can intercept landlines, cellular networks, satellite phones, tactical radio, even internet cafes. You're the one coordinating the meetings, forwarding contact information, telling Israeli officials to be flexible and get the deal done. You're the fixer. 2 months after the UN lifts an arms embargo on the Ivory Coast, Israel's foreign minister visits with more than 50 businessmen and signs an official defense and security agreement. The agreement you brokered. The same playbook repeats in Mongolia. In Nigeria, you and Barak oversee the installation of a facial recognition system, one developed by testing it on Palestinians crossing between Gaza and Israel. You pitch Palantir to Barak as a business opportunity, singing the praises of Peter Thiel. Meanwhile, a Wired investigation later reveals that between 2016 and 2019, years after your first conviction, a location data broker with ties to the US Defense Department called Near Intelligence collected precise GPS data from more than 200 cell phones that visited your island. The data is accurate to within centimeters. It maps visitors' paths from the Ritz-Carlton on St. Thomas to the private marina you co-own, through Great St. James to your private dock. It traces them to home addresses across 26 states: Florida, Massachusetts, Texas, Michigan, New York, gated communities, homes in Martha's Vineyard, a point on the sidewalk outside Trump Tower. The data also tracks visitors 30 days before and after arriving, mapping where they live, where they work. Nobody has fully explained why Near Intelligence queried your island specifically. The maps were sitting in publicly accessible code. Anyone with the right search could find them. In 2019, the Miami Herald publishes an explosive series on your sweetheart deal. Prosecutors in New York reopen the case. You are arrested on your private plane returning from Paris. You are charged with federal sex trafficking, more than 100 victims. You are 66 years old, and for the first time in your life, you cannot negotiate your way out. You are found dead in your cell on August 10th, 2019. The official ruling is suicide. You are awaiting trial. The charges are dismissed. Your co-conspirators cannot be retried for anything covered under the 2008 immunity agreement. Ghislaine Maxwell is eventually convicted in 2022 on 5 sex trafficking counts and sentenced to 20 years. She continues to claim innocence. In September 2025, a federal judge in New York denies a request by NBC News to unseal 2 names from your 2019 detention hearing. The judge reveals that both individuals, long rumored online to be co-conspirators, are confirmed victims. One of them received credible death threats after your death, investigated and verified by the FBI. Both were mislabeled by the public. Both are being protected, not hidden. In January 2026, the Department of Justice releases another tranche of Epstein files. 5 members of the House Oversight Committee travel to Ohio to depose Les Wexner. He is 88 years old. He answers questions behind closed doors. No charges follow. More than 150 names have been publicly linked to your network. The silence from most of them has been described by journalists covering the case as deafening. You built an empire not on product, not on violence, not on territory. You built it on access, on secrets, on a system that looked away every single time it had the chance to stop you and chose not to. You allegedly brokered surveillance deals for foreign governments. You allegedly used blackmail as leverage over some of the most powerful men alive. You allegedly wired your properties with cameras for exactly that purpose. And when it was finally over, the most powerful justice system in the world still couldn't answer the one question that matters most. Who are you actually working for? What do you think the answer is? Drop it in the comments. And if there's a name, a deal, or a document from the Epstein files you want us to dig into for part 2, tell us below. Every empire has a price. Follow the money.